communication. If I sent you a message, would you receive it? If I spoke living words, would you hear it? Is the past too far gone that we just can't believe it? We're so focused on what we want, we lose ourselves trying to achieve it. A reflection of the truth, an ideology simply hailing you. An ideology. You're a subject that's subject to serving the dominant class interest in all the work that you do. You believe in the American dream, but the dream doesn't believe you. As long as you're contributing to society financially, working class, pursue the American dream. That's what they'll always tell you. I mean, even Marx believed that it's rooted in capitalism. Althusser knew it to be true. Defines ideology as imaginary relation with individual perspectives of reality. Something that you believe is separate from you. False consciousness is conscious of you. Interpolation only takes an invitation, communication that calls you. Within a moment you've responded, not realizing you're a subject in the making. Violence isn't needed for your cooperation. ISA. You can function through ideology, creating subjects by sharing systems of information. You don't need an authoritative position or power that can enforce harm to influence minds. RSA. You see, it's as simple as communication through a tweet, which seems harmless to say. Posted, "Make America white again." Even Donald Trump used an ISA. But there seems to be a double function in this equation. Not even the ruling class can hold power without the ISA's addition. There's so many multiples of communication, rhetoric. Oh, this great art of persuasion. Let me get you so focused on the image that you accept the representation, pulling on your ethos and pathos, your ego's intelligence, emotions, and simulations. If I lead you through fear, pathos, and cause you to believe trusted credentials, ethos, while feeding you facts, logos, maybe you'll believe the picture more than the actual. Exchanging real for representation, objectification, a worldview turned material. Maybe that's what the board meant by spectacle. Comparing Althusser's ideas of false consciousness, buying the illusion instead of the real lived conditions. Wait, hold up. I gotta take a picture of this. Let me maintain my social status, use the mode of media as my apparatus, continuing watching images and looking at this. Look at this. Did you see this? Eyes fixed, glued to the screen of the stage. I serve the spectacle as I watch and engage. Recording Beyonce walking on singing, "Say my name." Even Boulevard believed that the body could be a spectacle, an object with the stage, a living, breathing commodity, something we can actually distribute and buy. Commodification, the moment that the object becomes consumable to the consumer. The moment your body becomes the commodity to the consumer. Consumer culture, the way that we invest in our bodies as subjects. Capitalism is at the root, just serving the dominant class worldview. We feel liberated in what we do, but there's neoliberalism, a competitive economic drive in this too. It seems as if our values are attached to this too. Fetishism. I'll buy this product because of the brand, not because of the original value of it just being a shoe. We seem to have a weak eye to images, but Sontag argues that photography can be used as a resistance to show and capture the power of images, to give knowledge and power back to the subject who chooses how to frame it. But there's also a negative side, and we see it all the time. Though it's become natural, many authors knew and agreed that these views were just for capital. Robert Barth says we gotta look past the mythological, read in between the lines, separate the myth from the sign. Myth, an imposed ideology based on class, consumerism, and capitalism. It tries to maintain the influence of a world order that's popular. For example, let's begin with Saussure, who defined language as a system of signs, semiotics. It's the study and the understanding of language as a system of signs. Now there's two parts to this: signifier and signified. Signifier is the denotation, in other words, the literal face value. Signified is the attached meanings and ideological context involved. This creates the sign. See, if you were to look at me, you would see a black girl, and that would be your signifier. But whatever that means to you is your signified. And that comes together to create the sign. Barthes goes deeper than this, though. To understand myth from the sign, he wants us to empty the original sign of its meaning and analyze the myth attached to it. He uses an example of a black boy saluting to a French flag. Maybe you see friendly colonialism, but Barthes reads that the myth is trying to flatten history, trying to hide the suffering and the pain of those affected when the French weren't being so friendly. Myth tries to flatten history, naturalizes it for the service of the bourgeoisie. Michael Foucault, slightly different in his views, believed that it was all about power, setting up dynamics that works through apparatus, institutions, and technology. You see, power operates through discourse. It produces knowledge and accessibility to information that benefits some people over others. You see, he didn't believe that we had power or that we could have power like Sontag did, but that we were subjects of power. That we could become good subjects by following our daily routines. If I just keep brushing my teeth, I'll keep being healthy. Discourse is just a body of knowledge that influences how we discuss topics. It rules out what we can and cannot talk about within a particular time. It's a system of representation, moving away from just logistics and focusing on how language is used to construct knowledge. There seems to be a theme of a worldview that's hegemonic. Communication as the circulation of messages, tied closely to a dominant worldview through space, time, economics, politics, and other levels of influential spheres. This is where Madalark comes in. He knew that there was something connecting these dots of communication, influenced by colonialization, infiltrated by modernity. A Western world that believes in equality, but only involving privileged white males explicitly. Look at the flows, the bonds, the spaces in the mechanical age, where a lot of technological advances were made. 1415 to 1940, we got telegraph, the telegram, printing press, and the train. Flows is the desire to get information as mobility. Bonds create connection and community. Space is the shrinkage of time, all made possible by these technologies. But McLuhan, he disagreed, leaning more to the electric age, investigating how media is extensions of ourselves, kind of similar to this current digital age. We upload our consciousness and reveal information that's sent to the world, to the nations. And in return, we receive a new worldview. But I wonder if the messages that we have learned is true.